Hey everyone, my name's Evan Mendez, and I thought I'd check in today and discuss. Well, today I would like to share my call log, but my phone is low battery, so it's charging. I woke up with shaky jaw. I struggle with breathing at night, and I recorded my symptoms and uploaded it. I don't want to rewatch it. I don't have to rewatch it. I live it. I think just really having this kind of like external experience of vlogging myself is helping me in the sense that like I feel like I'm more assertive, and it's not about losing being kind or gentle or polite or formalities and ethics at all. I have to really accept that on the other end of the phone call, I'm not dealing with that type of person always. Uh, Especially with the Michael E. DeBakey VA system. And I will really dive into how that just shut me down, those interactions, and maybe later on in this conversation. But I want to just share from beginning to end my workplace injury at Tesla and how that one event pushed me into a system that claimed to offer me housing, a job, stability, and instead I have something entirely different. Instead, I embrace the worst parts of my life, which is not a bad thing, but also I'm being pulled out by very spiritual people, very God loving, God fearing people that are pulling me out of the worst of my life and showing me that there's so much more than just embracing those worst qualities of life. So, is it good to achieve that harmony at the worst portion or the worst part, worst chapter in your life? Yes, I think that achieving that harmony or that balance, Bruce Lee says it best when he says, in order to win, you must learn how to die. And I've had that experience. So now I'm really focusing on, well, what can I do? I can vlog, and I actually feel like I don't know who chimes in. I get one view here and there, but I feel like it's not about the numbers as it is the message. Obviously, people are tuning in or watching in a way that something's working. And I think that my true character is displayed in the fact that my crawfish video probably has over 4,000 views. And if I ever really wanted to partake or participate in that corporate corruption, it would have been done a long time ago, and I would have brought all this to light a long time ago. I genuinely was, in my mind, doing the right thing and doing everything that I was taught to do, not speaking out, not speaking to the public, or not sharing these details, these very important details with the public. And now I just feel like, okay, well, I can spend all day. I can probably, to be honest with you, I can spend 3 days writing up reports and sending them, or sending emails, getting nowhere, making phone calls, or I can spend 30 minutes online vlogging. And my vlog, I have found, has been more impactful in the repetition of my story. I think I'm burnt out of these phone calls repeating my story, even today with this lady, Miss Thibodeau, even with her, I was just like, okay, not my problem. And what is the solution? Like, what is going to be done to make things right? Like, I didn't need your generalized opinion on my homelessness. I needed factually the dates when I was referred to this shelter, when I left this shelter, so that I can move on with my life. And if this is going to be the procedure for every single thing in my life, then that needs to be made formal. Like, if this is the protocol for every single veteran for every circumstance, then it needs to be somewhere. Whether it's policy, whether it's on paper, I need to see that Evan Mendez needs to call us for a letter for housing, for a letter for this. Those things already are in place. Veterans already have certificates of eligibility for education, for housing, for land. Okay, I just need simple proof of my homelessness, like formal, factual proof of my homelessness, so I can provide to different places so that I can get assistance and support. It's one letter. So I use some AI, and I'll read what AI has to say. I think it's important to share and not gatekeep the tools that I use. And it says, I used Copilot. It says, in today's vlog, I'm breaking down the truth behind what happened after my workplace injury at Tesla, and how that single event pushed me into a system that claimed to offer care, dignity, and stability, but delivered something very different. After the VA refused to properly address my injury, I was routed into a VA funded GPD program. That's just a fancy way of saying a homeless shelter. Part of an industry that presents itself with polished mission statements, faith based language, and promises of restoration, accountability, and long term independence. But behind the brochures and public messaging, my lived experience told another story. This is my whistleblower journey through a workplace injury that changed everything, VA decisions that ignored medical reality, a GPD pipeline that claims to serve veterans while exploiting their vulnerability, the gap between what organizations say publicly and what veterans actually face. I'm sharing this not out of anger, but out of fairness because veterans deserve transparency, real care, and systems that don't profit from their suffering. If you're a veteran, advocate, or anyone who believes in accountability, this story matters. If you've been through something similar, you're not alone. And if you've never heard how these programs really operate, it's time to see behind the curtain. This is my truth. This is my documentation. This is my whistleblower story. So I'm actually super proud of myself. I woke up this morning. I did my best. I try not to be so hard on myself with how I get in and out of bed. Sometimes I want to bounce on my bed. I don't know why, but I know that that's not good. Like, I know that I should steadily just ease my way in and out of bed to use the restroom. I use diapers. I'm not ashamed to say that I use diapers. I don't really have sensation or feeling, so I get tired sometimes of wearing diapers and I just want to like air out and be free. And I'm like, okay, well, I do want that, but also like I have to face that if I air out overnight, I may fall asleep and wake up and may have an accident. Like, that's just a risk I have to take. But I do my best to not be so dependent on the diapers as of lately. And the pain, I feel stable with my pain and my mental health and my medications. And I had my spinal injections 2 days ago. Yesterday I took it easy. I'm taking it easy. That was just my first set of injections, and I really do wish I could record that, but some things, I mean, I'm entitled to my privacy, but I can share that the staff, they were kind of like in their own world, but the doctor, I feel, did a good job of checking in on me and validating that I was okay and saying I did a good job. I did have one guy just kind of press down on my arm as the pain worsened with the injections. I feel like the I don't know, how do I say this? I guess I could have been soothed a bit more throughout the process. But it is a painful process, and I just put it like you have to go through the pain to get through the pain. So I pray and I hope that I prayed before this procedure, and I'll pray now and then leading up and during or going into the procedure that it's not so painful, whatever it takes. You know, I I do my part as far as like my regimen with my medication management. If there's something that I can do to assist in my case or to assist with my medical, it's my medical, my treatment, my plan, then I'm all for it. So I dealt with those shakes in my teeth. They're not so bad anymore. It was just like right when I woke up, I ate some cereal. I think that I didn't get angry, but I think that it really does frustrate me. Like I shared yesterday, it's not frustrating. I don't want to say I'm frustrated. Well, today was a bit frustrating because the realization that I've reported these VA social workers and nothing's been done. And my thing is, I mean, it it's super sad that the VA is this way in the sense that, and it's not just the VA, but I think state agencies and state mental health agencies, they have just such a generic textbook understanding of like mental health. Like they just care about titles, and federal agencies just care about jurisdiction. And even me reporting, a lot of agencies and entities say, well, we don't have jurisdiction, well, we don't this and that. They're a VA social worker, so we're very limited, or whatever it is. Like, because it comes to the VA and Department of Veteran Affairs and federal agencies, and these are like, it's dumb because it's like these are professions and disciplines, and they are roles that are governed by these federal policies, and then they're all ran by the state, and then there are people that spread so much misinformation that it's almost like so disorganized in the sense that a state organization for mental health has to enforce, or they are in charge of enforcing these disciplines and people in these professions and roles, and they work for the government. So, and the government does nothing about it because they don't know about it. They don't know about it because it's difficult for a veteran to speak up for themselves, let alone report the social worker. And when they do report the social worker, they have to go through all these systems, and it's awful. I've gone through it. I continue to go through it, and it shouldn't be this difficult to say this nurse, this doctor did these inappropriate things to me, hold them accountable, have some form of enforcement. Sadly, it's just not that simple. So that was frustrating in the sense that, like, their supervisor, after I've spoken with them multiple times, tells me they were unaware of these things, and I don't want to jump too far into my injuries, but to say it lightly, it's beyond evident that I needed help, and I don't I asked for help. I asked the person in charge for help, and they chose to disregard me for whatever their reason, or be so phony baloney. And nobody, I don't feel that anybody on planet Earth deserves this much anonymity. Like, it's unreal. I don't understand why people feel like they don't need a social presence online. I actually think that that makes you more prone and more vulnerable to phishing, scams, cyber hacks by not being having like this social footprint out there, being present out there, because that's what that's what keeps that narrative going of like capturing your photos, your identity, and feeding people these narrative scripts that I know. I had a friend at the homeless shelter that constantly got cyber robbed by cyber chicks, and when I captured the origin of his hacks through his bank system, it was somewhere in South Africa. So I'm just saying that interaction today, that this supervisor didn't know about the negligence of this social worker. Mind you, for like 2 years later, it's it's disheartening. It's like now I see, okay, I'm doing something. People are talking, and who I don't know, but something is moving in the realms of who knows where, but something's moving. I'm getting somewhere. And so, that aside, I was like, okay, as far as my advocacy goes and representing myself in a legal structure, it's like evident, like so evident to me. And I heard someone in a documentary yesterday say, you know, in court, like, these are constitutional rights. These, we shouldn't even be having this discussion. Like, we shouldn't even be here in this courtroom discussing this matter, because these people are under the Constitution. They have every right to treat their child the way they want it to be treated. And I was just thinking to myself, like, it makes me, it doesn't, I'm not depressed. It doesn't make me depressed. It doesn't make me sad in the sense of depression, but it is sad to see that at this point there have been two judges that have to, for whatever reason, they feel that they have to put in writing that it is beyond okay for me to represent myself in a court of law. And I think that that's super sad that these heavy shot, big shot law firm lawyers need these judges to Barney it down for them, that I am more than capable of representing myself. Like, that is just awful to me. And I'm like, you know what, Evan? At least it is what it is. I'll take the brunt of the stick. Like, I'll take the shoddy end of the stick, you know. Go ahead, hit me with it, because I feel like if I take the hit, and maybe that's all my trauma growing up, but if I take the hit, then I'm sparing somebody, whoever comes after me. I'm sparing them going through what I'm going through. They'll be able to represent themselves in court and not have to go through everything I had to go through. It'll be so much easier when they speak out. And so I know that. I know that at this rate, there's no way that people will not have to face what I faced. It is our constitutional right. And I was thinking to myself this morning, I was thinking, I heard somebody at church say, "You're not entitled to anything." And I thought to myself, speak for yourself, because that's what I have really embraced about myself, is growing up with that structure from my grandparents of like what's right and what's wrong. And it may be very antique and traditional, but in worldly ways, in worldly systems, culturally, for my family, it was always about your education and your family status, how many kids you have, how well educated you are, how proper formal you are. That's what mattered. That was your wealth. And I think that for legal systems and lawyers and doctors, like we are in, it's lunchtime. Yes, we are in the celestial kingdom in hierarchy, but we're also among amongst our worldly brothers and sisters, amongst worldly people, and that's what makes their skills, their professions, their disciplines, that's what carries us forward. Like, we are entitled to legal representation. We are entitled to represent ourselves. We have divine human rights. We have this divinity and spiritual rights. We have, it is God's law to love, and loving ourselves and loving our neighbors. You know, if we can't love ourselves, we can't take care of ourselves. We're definitely not going to make much use of helping anyone. And that's how I see things. Like, it is that structure, in the sense that my spiritual brothers and sisters are those blessings with these people, whomever they are, their skills and their role in this world, they are there with foresight, with skill sets, to help me better understand what I'm going through, and it's reciprocated. Like, there are instances and things about my case and my circumstance I have to do my part too, and that's moving the ball forward, as somebody said. Like, do what it takes to reach out, and I've reached out in every direction. It's unreal. So what I was saying with that was, I was pondering this morning on, like, no, I'm entitled. And I think when you comprehend that not everything is yours, not everything belongs to you, you don't have entitlement to do whatever you want, but entitlement is a responsibility. And it's something that I have captured for myself, in the sense that I am entitled to human kindness. I am entitled and deserving of human interaction, like safe, genuine human interaction. And that valor and that value of what I get to discern for myself is worth my time, and what's not. People that deserve my time and do not. I even said out loud, like, I had the social worker in the past say that the Warriors Refuge would not take me back because my case was more important than anything else, and for behavioral reasons, that I wasn't complying with their programs. And then today, the script was flipped. Today, I was told, well, you can reach out to the Warriors Refuge and try to go back and all these things. And I said, I will never talk to those people ever again. And it just came out so easily. Like, I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't have any malice, but also, at what point do I stand up for myself? And I feel like for 2 years, I've been fighting for my life. I really was fighting for my life before I even got there, even more after. And I made two really great interactions while I was there, interactions that mean the world to me even now, as those interactions have been really reduced to really nothing now. But there are interactions that, even thinking on those interactions now, really motivate me to not give up, to one day see them again when I see them, if I see them, and just to know that this person shared time and space in a dimension with me. Like, that's exactly what I fight so hard for. And it may seem selfish, it may seem horrible, vain, and I'm okay with that. I would rather live my life and not have to face conditional love and be seen for somebody that truly stood up for what they believe in and be true to themselves and compromise who I am or my identity to make somebody happy. So I had that interaction with Miss Thibodeau. All I was simply asking for was a document, a piece of paper. I can't get my dental care. It's just, I can't really get myself together the way I want to get myself together. If anything, I think that's a bit frustrating because in my mind, I've sped around this room 20 times. In my mind, I picked up everything off the floor, responded to all my mail, unboxed every package. Mentally, that's my mind, and my mind, I don't think my mind has really adjusted to my body just yet. My body is not in a good place right now. I really just want to like jump in and out of bed and get up and rush to the restroom like I used to, like an able-bodied person. I'm just not that person anymore. So I was taught a log rule, so I do my log rule in and do my best to log rule out. Sometimes I get hung up, and sometimes I gotta pick a leg up and put it over the bed. So most of the time, what I battle with in the bed is like I don't really have much sensation below my waist. So sometimes I'll be like, I guess, like how you would say crisscross applesauce or Indian style. Is that, I feel like is not, that's not, that's not very cash money of me to say that. But I feel like that's what I called it, Indian style. Whatever. Anyways, I, or what do you call it, like butterfly? Is that more culturally appropriate? Butterfly style, where you put your feet together, and so I'll sit like that for maybe far too long, and I don't know if I just get so caught up in my laptop or whatever that then I get like those little prickly feelings in my feet. I really have just a difficult time adjusting to no longer. I'm getting better, no longer really having those feelings. I guess maybe some people would say they're like phantom feelings, but even yesterday, I'm getting better at adjusting to like being outside. At first, I wasn't even noticing that I was getting bit by mosquitoes in certain parts of my body. Like I didn't even realize this mosquito was plump on my leg. It had been there for so long, and I didn't realize because I can't really feel. And so now my awareness is there. Like yesterday, I watered the grass and I caught two nibbles and I caught it right away because I'm actually looking for it now. Now that I know, I'm actually like staring at my legs, checking my legs, and I came in right away and I cleaned up the bites and disinfected the bites. So I'm super fragile. I have to be careful with lots of things. It's not very easily understood the type of pain that I'm in, and that's tough. I have these idiot, disrespectful nurses at the VA that tell me I have chronic pain, and I don't have chronic pain. I have neurological emergencies, neurological crisis, neurological pain. I have had so many doctors at the VA just say there's nothing wrong with me from the very beginning. They said there's nothing wrong with you. MRI came back, there's nothing wrong. And dealing with that and living with it is a difficult truth for me. So I know I've broken the 30-minute mark and it's lunchtime. I did start school yesterday and I have homework I have to submit tonight. It's due Friday, but I don't want to be like last minute doing homework on a Friday, especially because tonight Love Island's on. So I'll probably just shut my computer, take a little nap. I have a St. Luke's bill in the amount of $154.24. And I have a sleep study that's coming up through VA. Well, it says do not report to the VA Medical Center. Finally, they're getting something right. All of this is supposed to be going to the Department of Veteran Affairs. It's funny because it says do not report to the VA Medical Center, but it says if you need assistance with this appointment, please call your facility community care office at Michael E. DeBakey, Department of Veteran Affairs. Please follow up with Michael E. DeBakey. Oh man. I talk to his picture, his portrait when I get there. Sometimes I talk to it and I say, man, if you were just to see how this place has been disgraced, the history of that building was architect it was architected, it was engineered and built by historical figures and the Army Corps of Engineers, a lot of, you know, significance behind that building, and now it's just so tarnished and unkept and sad. And I I feel like wow, what we deserve as veterans, that place is just lacking and awful. As veterans, like we deserve to just go into a safe facility, a safe hospital, one that's not in like fested with homelessness and secondhand smoke and just toxic and bad for public health. And there's so much complacency there, there's so much nepotism there, families that work there, employees, and I can't do anything about that. Like I can't, but I can say something. I can say something about what I'm going through and what I've been through. And yep, that's where I'm at. I think I was just like, I I don't see how favoritism or my hardship. I don't see how any of that has to come into play with a man Like, where's the favoritism towards that? I am a man that nearly lost my life, and I mean, I don't seek favoritism, I don't seek fame. All I seek is to get the medical care that I need so that I can live, so that I can live past the hospital walls, so that I can be present with my family and improve those relationships with people. And it's sad because it's like I don't even want to entertain the it is deprivation in some sense, but it's the technological, just how do I say, I'm dealing with people that don't have a technological sense of what they're doing, like an email and discussing things via email, or it's just all types of messed up. It's like a broken Legoland. And my workplace injury, I wish that that day never happened. I really do. If that day would have never happened, I wonder like where I would be. And I just understand now that God was with me in those situations, and God really removed me from those situations and protected me and guided me out of all of that so that I can see that He has me in a much better place with Him, and not straying away from Him. I'm exactly where I need to be now. And it's probably the meds, but I'm getting a bit drowsy. I have some water next to me. I had to get this pillow from Walmart. And I'm just grateful that, like, I have the intellect to control my story. So many people have made money off of me, profited off of me, watched me, surveilled me, done some sicko weirdo stuff to me. And I don't blame myself. I don't say I allowed it. I really did not deserve what I went through. I did my best to ask for help, to seek help, to get legal help, and uh, for for whatever reason, those interactions did not work out. Is out of my control. But what is in my control is really showing up now, being present in a way that isn't just like, okay, I'm making a video vlog. Okay, I'm dropping all of this footage. I'm purging all the footage off my phone. I really need to because I want a new phone, and I also have done my best to preserve all the digital evidence that I have. So I'll end this stream. And I thank and want to thank everyone that's been watching or watching my content. Thank you. I am super sorry if I bore you, but I would rather say something, and I'm speaking out. I think I'm 100% transparent with everything that I'm going through, and I'm mindful of where I like draw the line as far as talking about specific things. But also, I think that at this stage, I don't have to really exert myself with the truth. It's I don't have to overexert myself with what what is factually, and it's not just factually there as far as the things that I've gone through, but about me, my character,